Hey y'all, I'm Rebecca Pierce. I'm a Black Jewish documentary filmmaker and writer from the San Francisco Bay Area. And this week is Passover, so I'm going to share a little Passover tradition that we do in my family. For those of you who don't know, Passover is a Jewish holiday where we celebrate the daring escape of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. You may know this story from adaptations such as the DreamWorks animated classic, The Prince of Egypt, the Ten Commandments, VeggieTales, the King James Bible, whatever. You've heard the story before, probably. But the way that Jewish people usually celebrate this holiday is we get together with our families and we have something called a Seder, which is when you eat a lot of different symbolic foods to sort of tell the story of Passover. Like a lot of people right now, I'm really far away from my family, self-quarantining, so I have to do it alone, but I'm going to share with y'all how my mom and I make matzah. Matzah is, this is what matzah looks like. It's a unleavened bread that we eat. It symbolizes the bread that the Israelites had to take with them when they were leaving Egypt. And this happened very suddenly, so people had to leave before their bread could rise. I've noticed there's been kind of a trend lately, because Jews are very trendy right now, where Christians sort of appropriate matzah and they'll call it weird things like the bread of healing, the bread of abundance, the bread of manifesting. Matzah is none of those things. Matzah is the bread of affliction, okay? Bread of affliction. It's dry as fuck. You eat it. It doesn't taste like much. We usually put things on it. This is not a happy-go-lucky bread. This is like oppression bread, okay? Being Black and Jewish, the story of Passover for me is not just this historical thing or metaphorical thing, but it's kind of something that happened in my family, in recent memory. My great-grandfather was born a slave and became free in his lifetime. So I always really connect the story of Passover to both my Black and Jewish identities. And one of the ways I do that is when making matzah with my mom, we'll make something we call the Afrikomen, which is like the Afrikomen, the matzah we hide during the Seder for kids to find, but it's shaped like Africa. So today I'm gonna make an Afrikomen. Full disclosure, I am a cook. I really love cooking. I'm not a baker. I haven't done this in a year. Usually my mom is supervising me. So there's a good chance that this will end in tears and failure, but it's also a good chance that you guys are gonna get to see me have a good time and make something I really love. So here goes. The first thing you do when you make matzah is you preheat the oven to 500 degrees. I'm doing that. You also put your pizza stone or baking tray or whatever in there so it's hot. You sift some flour, 2.5 cups. As we all know, with coronavirus, every motherfucker on earth is baking right now, even if you don't bake, myself included. Look at me. This flour was very hard to get. I did have to kill a man. I'm not proud, but okay, I'm a little proud. Anyway, so I'm just sifting flour like Christians sift through our traditions to find something they can instrumentalize to promote Jesus. Actually, my mom, who I make this with, is Christian. A lot of my family members are. I love y'all. You're not the problem. You gotta sift the flour till it looks like the sandy Florida beaches that our forefathers retired to. Don't go to the beach right now. It's closed. Okay, then you're gonna add your water. And then you add olive oil. Fuck. Just gonna mix this until it's a dough. Again, I think you can add a little bit more water, like up to 1/2 cup if you need to. Hey mom, can you talk right now? So I'm trying to make matzah and the dough's like really sticky. Is there something I can do to make it like less sticky? It was really sticky. Like I said, I'm not a baker. Called my mom, she had really good advice. More flour. All right, and all of a sudden this is working. Okay. So when you have your dough, I guess, I'm like trying to teach y'all like I know what I'm doing. So I like to make it kind of like a skinnier version of Africa when I'm starting out. And you pull out the horn, you pull out the western part of the continent. People who actually bake have rolling pins. I don't have a rolling pin. People who are classy use wine bottles. I don't feel like going to the liquor store. I have bourbon right here. So I'm gonna use a water bottle. I clean this a lot, don't worry. And I'm gonna roll it out. The water bottle says Palestine, y'all will live. And it's okay if your matzah isn't like perfectly Africa shaped at this point. We're gonna do some trims, some edits, some revisions. All right, this is almost actually kind of the right shape. Yeah, just make some little edits. Like they edited our history away from us. So the next step is we take a fork. We're just gonna poke some holes in this. I would explain why, but I don't remember. Okay, so I'm sorry I had to go jump on a Zoom call, so I couldn't keep filming. But after what you saw, the process is super simple. You just take your dough, you put it on your hot surface inside the oven, and you cook it for just a few minutes. This whole process, start to finish, should take less than 18 minutes, and that way you know that the bread hasn't risen at all. The end result is something like this, or like this. Oh no, okay, like this. Each one's gonna look different, they're gonna be unique, but sometimes they come out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this one. Thank you so much for joining me and making the Afrikomen. I know a lot of us are going through a really hard time right now. It's hard to be separated from your families, it's hard to be under all the stress and anxiety, and it's hard to lose loved ones. But for me, holidays like Passover are a reminder that our ancestors went through so much before us, and we can get through this as well. So Hag Pesach Sameach, and next year together.
Full of love, faith hath built, God past